do with a knot. A knot in my necklace. It's a bit too low. Hello, everybody, by the way. Just going to put a little... Mind, I can't put a knot, can I? If I put a knot in it, I won't be able to get out of it, will I? Oh, dear. Never mind. It'll have to be long unless I can find a pin. Hey, Nathan. I'm just saying my necklace is too long, but if I tie a knot in the cord, then I won't be able to get out of it again, will I? Oh, I haven't got a pin. I haven't got a safety pin. And I wish I hadn't put this on now. It's sharp and it's sticking in my jumper. I'm going to finish up with shredded jumper. I haven't got a pin or anything. I've got a stitch marker, but I don't think that'll work. No, that's not going to work, is it? Is it, Janet? Oh, what are you going to do, girl? If I take it off, you know... Can you imagine when Chad comes and says, can I look at your necklace? And I go, it's here because I can't wear it. Good evening, Connie. I'm looking for a safety pin, Connie, if you're looking what I'm hunting for. And I haven't got one anywhere. Oh, how annoying. Oh. Maybe I can use a clip. Maybe I can use a clip. Yes, I know I'm having a swap round, so don't panic, people. You know, we're allowed to have a spring clean. I crafted it so. Oh, right, I'm trying to shorten my necklace because it's too long. And it's, oh no, it's not going to work, that. I'm going to have to take it off. If Shad comes on, I'll show it to him. I'll go, there it is. I can't wear it. It's sharp. And it's sticking in my jumper. And it's too long. And I haven't got a safety pin to shorten it. Never thought about that. I've just put it on the last minute. I thought, I came in here, got myself ready. Then I thought, oh, no necklace. Shad will go mad. Oh yeah, I bleached it again. I couldn't be doing with that. Hi Ethan, hi Helen. Who else have I missed? Crafting It So, hello. Hello Chris, hello Linda. Oh. Well, at least the wind's died down. It's been awful. Terrible. Oh. I've got my ticket ready for the Northwest Winter Wool Festival, but I'm going to have to print it out again because for some reason or other it printed out in black and white. And it printed out rather big. It didn't need to be that big. And now I'm getting messages on my phone as well. Oh, it's just... My two cousins, their daughters have got a coffee shop called The Hive. And I just watched the Crafty Cleggs, and they've just been to a coffee shop called The Hive. And I just asked my cousin, saying, have they just been, like, you know, to our coffee shop? And she said, oh, no, it must be a different one. But if you watch the Crafty Cleggs, I mean, she was nearly wetting herself, Jeanette, because they have knitted figures in the window of this coffee shop, and they are without clothes. And not only are they without clothes, they have got all the relevant bits on view. And some people have complained, apparently, because they were showing everything, yeah. So I just asked the mums of these two, you know, well, they're my cousins, so it's their cousins, my cousins' daughters. one from each cousin run this coffee shop. So, yeah. So it's not my cousin's coffee shop they went to. It's another one called the Hive, yeah. Yeah, it was hilarious, wasn't it, Linda? When her daughter kept saying the right names for the bits that are on view. And she kept saying, you can't say that, you can't say that. You'll have me banned off YouTube for saying that. And she kept saying, but it's the correct anatomical word, for it. And she kept saying, yeah, but don't. She was going mad, Jeanette. She thought she was going to get banned. If you haven't seen it, just watch the Crafty Clegs. They are her and her daughter are in the car together, and it's a funny episode. Apparently, they've been interviewed by the BBC and somebody else about these little knitted figures, anatomically correct little figures that they have in the window. I mean, I have seen it before. I have seen, you can buy the book and knit them yourself if you're interested, people. You could make it for a laugh, but I mean, it depends who you give them to, doesn't it? Some people wouldn't see the funny side, the prudes, they wouldn't see the funny side, would they? It's like me, I go to a church knitting group and I really don't think that they would see the funny side. The others would, but not that group. Yeah. Anyway, I think Crafty Clegs, I think Jeanette is going to be at this wool show in Blackpool that I got me ticket for. Hi, Val. I don't know whether you missed me talking about the Crafty Clegs, Val. She went to a coffee shop and they had anatomically correct little knitted figures in the window of the coffee shop. I printed up a ticket, but A, it printed out very big, and B, it didn't print out in colour. So I hope they'll let me in. I'm sure it's not meant to be that big, Val. I don't know whether you printed yours out or not. I'm going to the knitting and crafting. The knitting and I haven't had a drink, by the way. Knitting and crafting show with Val and another lady from another knit group. I'm very versatile. You see, I go to I actually go to 4. No, 1, 2, 3. 3 knit groups. Can't even count now. Oh dear. Well, we got let off lightly with all this storm and everything. It's been awful in Scotland, terrible in Scotland. We just lost a fence panel that splintered and smashed everywhere. So we now have to stop the dogs from going in next door's garden because, they don't have a dog. And I don't think they'd appreciate if our dogs left them a little present on the lawn, you know what I mean? So the dogs have to be supervised, which is a little bit difficult when it's dark. Although we do have a light that comes on, so, But, our Trixie, you say to her, don't, come here, Trixie, and she'll go, make me. She's one of them, Nathan knows exactly what I mean because he's got a French bulldog. Yeah. It's like, you ask them one thing and they don't do it. They only do what they want to do. Yeah. No, we've got no snow, Enid, but oh gosh, high wind, it's been dreadful. But the people in Scotland and all around have had it 10 times worse. There's absolutely, thumbs up, everybody. 30 people, I've only got 11 thumbs. Why have I got, oh, it's a plaster. I'm just going to say, why have I got a green thumb? But it's a plaster. Sabotaged myself as usual. But people in Scotland, I mean, oh God, trees gone down, houses collapsed, roofs come off. Although there has a chimney stack blown down round the corner from here. But I think the property was quite old, so it might have been a bit of a dodgy chimney stack. But people are losing parts of sheds, garages. I mean, we've been lucky. Like I say, one fence panel is all we've lost, thankfully. Our roof has stayed firmly attached, thankfully. People have lost slates, but Scotland's had it really rough, yeah. I must check in with Sue. That's something I meant to do, but I've been doing other things today. I'm having a spring clean and a tidy up and a shift about. So I've been busy rummaging in, sounds good, doesn't it? Rummaging in my drawers. But you know how it is. You get that feeling, don't you, some days? You get up and you think, I'm going to do such and such a thing. And you start by dragging everything out and dragging everything all over the place. And then you lose half your incentive halfway through, don't you? And it doesn't get put back. You know what I mean? They might be like that for a while. They might not ever have anything back in. Maybe I like the look of them empty, you know what I mean? At least they're tidy. If they're empty, they're tidy, aren't they? You can't see the bit underneath. They might not be tidy in the bottom bit because the doors are. You can only see through the glass bit. Oh, I know what I meant to do. I meant to bring me other. Hang on a minute, and I'll get a safety pin for this blinking necklace. Give me 1 minute. I'll be back. I'm like Arnie, I'll be back. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Ah, here I am, here I am. Can you see me, mother? Hiya, Sean. Oh, dear. I watch a lovely lady. She's called, Mean Something Super Scrimper. And she's so funny. And she always says, when she's doing anything, can you see me, mother? Can you see me, mother? So I always say that. She's got a lovely name. I think she's called Ilona or something. Not Ivana, not or Ilanka or something. Mean Queen Super Scrimper, I think she's called. I love watching her because she's absolutely pots for jug handle. She's nutty as a fruitcake, but she's so funny. Well, the trouble is she's been getting a lot of people being rude. She's not a blinking model. She's an ordinary looking woman, and she's not perhaps the prettiest woman in the world, but, hang on a minute, there's no need to be rude. Where have I got that? Why do I always go to the wrong side? There you are. You see, I've put a pin in it now, so you can see it now, can't you? Right. What I went in to get is, look, ta-ta-ta-ta, especially for the people who like pastels. This is number 5. I kept number 1 for myself, and I made another 4. Eventually, they will find their way to some old dears, probably in a nursing home or something. I like this pattern, though. It's by a lady. She's in Israel. She's called Crochet Objet, not Object, Objet. And you start off with a bigger chain. Instead of being like an ordinary granny stitch, the traditional triangle, and they come down and you increase. And they sit on your shoulder and they don't fall off. So because not everybody likes bright colours like me, I decided that I would do a pastel colour one. Because some people like icky pastel. So, you know, I'm not being judgmental. If they like pastel, they like pastel. I don't. I think it's insipid, but never mind. Some old dear might think that's absolutely wonderful. And I've even given her a bit of sparkle. Look at that. She's even got a bit of sparkle. Well, I'm presuming it's going to be a she. I don't think there's many old dears in a nursing home men would want to wear one of these, but you never know, do you? You never know. I mean, this is mine. This is more my colours. This is me. You know, this is me own. And you know, it's lovely and warm. It's a paid for pattern, sadly, but you know, I don't mind if it's a well written pattern. Don't mind. I just object to paying about $6 or $8 for a pattern written by a teenager who hasn't got a clue on how to write a pattern. You know, I mean, so many patterns, you're like scratching your head, aren't you, and going, what on earth? Yeah, what on earth? Yeah. Well, I'm glad you, my thumb, sabotaged myself. Bit a nail. You know, mine thumbnails are weird. I think I told you that I've got this brachia, whatever it's called, where my thumbnails are short and fat and funny. And there was a piece of nail, so I just pulled it, which is always a mistake, isn't it, really? You know. So, of course, it went, yowie. So now I've got to put a plaster on it. Yeah. I'm glad you always give me a thumbs up. It is important. It's not important to me financially at all, because I don't get anything, you know, I don't. But it helps to raise a profile. You know, so if you like somebody that you watch, I'm not saying just me, I'm saying anybody that you watch. If you like them and you watch them, YouTube doesn't know. Unless you put a thumbs up, subscribe, which is free to subscribe. You don't have to pay anything to subscribe to people. You don't have to join their Patreons or anything like that. Just to subscribe, it's free. So if you like somebody and you like watching them and you want them to make more videos, then give them a thumbs up. You know, if you like them, just give them a comment, you know, because what it does is then it raises the profile up with YouTube, and then more people view them. And obviously, for someone like me, if more people were viewing me, I'd think, oh, hey, I've got a load more subscribers. I'll make more videos, you know. And this is the way it goes. So please, if you like anybody, subscribe to them and give them a thumbs up. Yeah. I'm not talking about me, although I am. Would be nice. But, you know, I know you all watch lots and lots of people. And maybe you just watch them on the quiet, you know. And also another good thing is if you do subscribe is they do tell you when your favourite person that you're watching makes a new video. They tell you. So then you know it's like, oh, my favourite so-and-so person. You know, I mean, I've got my favourites that I watch. We've all got our favourites that we watch. I mean, I wouldn't have seen that video with Crafty Clegs if I hadn't have been subscribed. But it told me that she had a new video out. And when I watched it, I was laughing my head off because, you know, it was so funny, you know. And I like her because she's really down to earth and she speaks my language because she comes from where I used to, well, I was born. Yeah, she comes from near there. Yeah. And also, she's going to be at this month there. So I might just see her. All right, if you're in the UK, hands up who went to Aldi to look at the wool. No censor, no censor. I didn't, I daren't. I've got a big bag here, a huge bag that I brought in of the shed, from the shed, just oddments. I'm not talking big amounts, I'm talking oddments. And I thought, I'm getting rid of it. Why do we keep all these half bowls, 3/4 bowls? You know, they'll come in useful. I mean, I don't make toys, I don't make things like that. So, no, they don't come in useful. So, this is why I have made now 5 scrappy shawls because, you know, it's one way of. Oh, you're allowed, Sean. You're allowed, yeah. We'll let you off. But this is why I'm making scrappy shawls, because I thought, well, rather than them just sit in my cupboard or sit in the shed, somebody might as well have some use of them. And to be quite honest, I have got so many sweaters. I mean, I've been doing a decluttering, whatever you want, but what the heck do you do with your sweaters when you don't want them anymore? You can't take them to the charity shop because they get funny over here. If it doesn't have a wash care label in it, if it doesn't have a size in it, they don't want them. And I refuse to donate them to a charity shop for them to finish up in landfill. Yeah. So I've got a load of sweaters and I don't know what to do with them. So I pull them out of the cupboard to sort them all out and think, yeah. And then you think, well, what the heck do I do with them? So I put them back. My spring cleaning consisted of taking them all out, folding them up a bit neater, and putting them back again. So I've got way, way too many sweaters and cardigans, which is why I decided to make these scrappy shawls. And then yesterday, I had this part cone left from when I made myself a cardigan. I bought these cones, and I think Denise Deer, from Deer Designs, she bought them as well. They were really, really mega cheap, yeah. So I bought 5 of them. This is the only one I used, and I crocheted myself a little summer cardigan in this colour. And I thought, what do you do with all? There's not enough to make another cardigan. I don't want another cardigan in the same colour. So I decided I would start a virus show. I made hundreds of these things, hundreds of the darn things. And yet I started it off and I'm thinking, I can't remember what I did. I follow a chart from Lisa Pine Notes. I follow hers, yeah. And I mean, somebody had mentioned a virus blanket, but I wouldn't want a blanket that was that open work anyway. It wouldn't be very warm, would it? So I didn't want to do a virus blanket. Me and blankets. Oh. I make shawls while they come out my ears, but blankets, no. Unless it's a pram blanket, of course. I don't mind that, but no. No, no, no to a blanket. Yeah. Good evening, Heather. You got rid of most of your yarn stash. I'm a bit, I don't know why. You know that woman, what was she called? When she said if you look in your wardrobe and it doesn't bring you joy, you should get rid of it. I don't do that. I look at my wool, my yarn, whatever you want to call it. I call it wool. And I know I've got too much of it. But does it bring me joy? Yes, it does. Do I look at it and think I need to get rid of it? No, I don't. Unless it's beige. When I used to crochet for people and I had my shop, I used to do buy beige because people liked beige. Or greige, as my friend calls it. That's grey and beige, greige. So I have in my stash quite a bit of this icky beige. So I am considering getting rid of that. I am considering putting it on eBay because, like everyone else, that lady don't bring you any joy. Which lady are we talking about? Do you know, I've still got that activate Windows. You don't watch her. Who don't you watch? Whatever. Yeah, I love all my yarn, and I always think of possibilities when I look at it. I used to sit in the shed. I haven't sat in the shed for a while because, at the moment it just depresses me. And I look at all the shelves, and I can honestly see myself making, that'd make a lovely shawl. That'd make a lovely cardigan. So I don't look at it. Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean now, Chris. She don't give me joy, no either. What's she called? Condo or something. Somebody condo. And she was advocating that you pick things up out your wardrobe, and if it doesn't give you joy, you get rid of it. I can part with my clothes if I don't wear them. But part with my wool, it's like giving away my firstborn, you know what I mean? Not my only born. It's his birthday next week, my only born. Yeah. I won't tell you his age. Makes me feel old. 2, 4, 6, 8. But my ex is 80 tomorrow. I won't be sending him a card. Oh, I'm glad you always give me a thumbs up. I still only got 22 thumbs up and there's 34 people in the room. You know what I mean? Just saying. Just mentioning. Oh dear. I've just watched Leslie as well, poor girl. I mean, she's really going through it with the chemo. If you don't watch Not Quite Enough Yarn, she's been diagnosed with cancer, sadly. And she's going through chemo at the moment, so she's struggling a little bit, but, you know, she's always so cheerful. And her videos are always so lovely. You know, I do hope everything goes fine for her because she's got such a good-hearted spirit, you know. I mean, you get someone the little finger hurts and you get a video for 35 minutes about this, you know. You've got to make the dinner. Oh, don't make them any dinner. Just throw them an egg or something. Give them an egg on toast. Tell them it's frugal day. You know, there's the other kind of people. There's some that make the best of life and they get on with things. And you know they're going through horrendous things and they make such cheerful videos. And then you get the ones who've got a little finger that hurts and you get 40-minute video moaning, don't you? And I'm like, oh, God, I'm not watching you anymore. I'm really sorry they've done away with the thumbs down button on some of them, yeah. Yeah, Leslie's amazing, isn't she? I mean, yeah. You know, you've got to admire her courage and her spirit. And, you know, like I say, let's just all hope and pray that everything goes well for her and that she's one of the lucky ones that's a survivor. 6, 8, 10, yeah. I have to keep counting. I can never, you know, when you're doing something, you have to do something 10 times. Excuse me, I've got a hair. And when you've done it 10 times, you always have to stop and count. I always have to stop and count. I've done 10. I can never trust myself, even though I've counted 10 as I've been going along, yeah. I'm like, oh dear. Anyway, how are we all? How are we all? What are we all doing? You know, oh, I've got this hair. Can you see this hair? Can you see me, mother? It's across my eye somewhere. And it's really annoying me. I haven't got much hair to start off with, so I don't want it in my eye. Yeah, what are you all doing? What are you all making and doing? I mean, as you know, oh God, this is really getting on my nerves now. I can't find it. Hang on, I've got a magnifying mirror. Let me see if I can see it. Well, I can see all my mascara's gone underneath my eye, which is very not pretty. I've got 2 black eyes where my mascara's already run. Serves you right, Janet, for getting a cheaper mascara. Should have gone for the branded one, girl. Oh, and it's in my eye as well. That's what it is. Got a blob of mascara in my eyeball. So perhaps it wasn't a hair after all. Perhaps it was a blob on my mascara. Serves you right. You shouldn't buy cheap stuff, should you? I did subscribe to the Loopy Loo because she's another lady that's not doing very well, sadly. She wanted to get to, 1,000 subscribers before she, well, I think she knows she's terminal, yeah. So anyway, she's got a lot more than the 1,000 people have subscribed to her. Yeah, Loopy Loop, I think she's called. And it's her ambition, her bucket list was to get to 1,000 subscribers. Anyway, she's surpassed it. Thanks. So she's got one thing off her bucket list. Hey. Oh. I didn't get me injection in my hand, by the way. 2, 4, 6, 8. I was dreading it because they put the injection right in your hand and it's blooming painful. Anyway, I'm steeling myself, and I get in and he says, do you mind if a student watches, and I'm like, I said, well, no, I said, not if she doesn't mind me screaming, So we had a bit of a laugh. Anyway, he examined my hand and he said, remember when it was triggering and I couldn't get it to come up? Well, it stopped doing it now. It's just pain, really bad pain. Anyway, he said, you've got severe osteoarthritis in your hand and nerve damage. I told you I didn't think that carpal tunnel operation went down very well. And he said, to be honest with you, he said, that injection won't do you any use. It said, it won't. I said, well, will it cure the pain? He went, no. I said, well, what do I do? He just said, well, keep taking your painkillers then. I said, well, they don't work. I said, how about ibuprofen gel or something? He said, well, that might work. I thought, so in other words, just keep on keeping on, you know what I mean? Yes. So anyway, I didn't get jabbed, yeah. You're on the button band of your third. Poor Val has knitted a cardigan. Val has a mirror that's the opposite of most people's mirrors. Val looks in the mirror and sees herself 3 times bigger than she actually is. So she knits herself a cardigan that's for somebody who is on my £600 life, yeah? And then she wonders why it doesn't fit her, yeah? So then she's unravelled it, then she knitted it together and it still was wrong. And then now she's on a 3rd time. Lucky. Val, will you realise that when you look in the mirror, you are a lot smaller than you think you are, yeah? She's a bit like Denise does the same thing. Denise unbaked these things, and she always makes the size that she used to be before she lost all her weight, yeah? And, I'm like, Denise, please don't knit it that big. And then she knits it and it's too big. Oh, dear. Never mind. I have the opposite kind of mirror. I look in and think I look thin. And then I see myself on security cameras in shops and I think, who's that old fat bug coming in, And it's me. So I'm the opposite, I look in my mirror and think I look okay, Never mind. I have to look at me from the inside. I don't have to look at me that other people see. That's my, I have one mirror that is, I won't say it's flattering, but it's a good light. So I always like to look in that mirror before I go out because it gives me hope. We have another mirror in the hall that is a really ugly mirror. Don't look in that one before I go out. Otherwise, I'll look at myself and think, oh, who is the old in the mirror? Some old pensioner keeps jumping in front of me, you know what I mean? I think I'd do better with one of those mirrors, like you see at Blackpool Pleasure Beach, the ones where you look at yourself and you're thin and you look at yourself and you're all tall and bubbly. Then you look at yourself and you're all big. I can remember. You're not still too big, Val, at all. Will you get yourself a decent mirror? Honestly. Woman, you want to slap in the nicest possible way. She does. She thinks she's a lot big. You think you're a lot bigger than you are, Val, and you're not. Nothing wrong with you, girl, yeah? So stop knitting bell tents. What is it with people who are a bit large? I don't mean very large, I'm talking a little bit large. Why do they knit oversized sweaters? Oversized sweaters only look good on somebody who's like that, dead skinny. Oversized sweaters on somebody who's a bit chunky make them look like a tent. I've discovered that, yeah. Some of my sweaters are too big for me now because I've lost 4 stone. And when I put them on, I look as though I haven't lost the 4 stone, if you know what I mean. Those are the ones that I don't want to keep because they're not flattering. It just takes me back to the headspace that I was in when I was like 4 stone heavier, yeah. So ladies, if you are a bit on the chunky side, please don't knit oversized cardigans. They don't do you any favours. Oh, you're not the cat. No, you're not too big at all, Val. Nothing wrong with you at all. Have you decided what you're going to wear to the the knitting show? Hmm? I might wear my old. Oh, it's too big though. The cardigan I always used to wear was my Granny Takes a Trip. I loved that cardigan. It's like a 3/4 length and it's granny squares edged in black. And I put it on the other day and it looks like a tent. It's my go-to jacket when I go to anything like that. You know, where I look as though I've made some kind of an effort. Because you see women walking around in these fantastic knitted sweaters and cardigans, done in thin wool, and they're all multicoloured. Oh, and they make you feel inferior. And I haven't got time to knit myself anything. Well, I haven't got the inclination, to be quite honest, to make myself anything interesting before then, because it's only on February the whatever 16th, I think it is. So I haven't got time to make myself anything beautifully fine and lovely and everything between now and then. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So it'll have to be something I've already got, which rules out a lot of my stuff. My sweaters always get fluffed up. Yeah. Because I wear them. I'd love to know how people keep their sweaters without getting them fluffy. I get fluffy bits on my arms and that. And look, I've got dangly bits on. Mind you, this sweater is old. Cardigan is old. But I get these like lumps. I don't know if it's because I knit or I do things or what. No, I don't think I've won the lottery either, yeah. Yeah, medication's got a lot to answer for. When I asked this bloke about my hand and I said, what can I do? And he said, well, take your meds, because you obviously don't, because I'm not asking for them often enough. He said, you're obviously not taking your pain meds. I said, well, I don't want to be drugged up to death. I don't like taking pain meds. I said, anyway, they don't do any good. He said, they don't do any good because you don't take them. I said, that's why they don't do you any good. Yeah. So, the one all the men talk to when you wear it. Oh, what was that? Which one did I have on, though? Was it that, the hexagon jacket? Was it that one I had on? I think it was the scooter, We went to Southport. And I don't know why. I must have been wearing my magnetic perfume that day because I kept getting all these smiles off men and that. And I don't know whether it was sympathy because I'm stuck in my little scooter. But Val and Sue insisted that it was my magnetic charm, which it wasn't. The fact that one of them was so drunk he could hardly stand, I don't think that one counts, Val. He was muttering at me. And they, of course, thought it was hilarious, too. That's the kind I usually get, the ones who say, "Oh, you're gorgeous, you are." Then they fall off the bar stool drunk. That's the kind I get, yeah. Yeah, it was Southport. Hello, excuse me. Yes, you tell them all. Thumbs up, everybody. Oh, dear. Yeah, I attract usually the heavily inebriated. They're the kind that find me fascinating, yeah. I don't know why. Perhaps I look good with beer goggles. That's what they call them over here. When you're the men are drunk, they said they're wearing beer goggles. When they talk to a girl, they think she's absolutely fantastic. Then they meet her the day after when they're stone cold sober and wonder what on earth they saw in her. Yeah, it's beer goggles, yeah. I think that's what they're wearing when they look at me. Yeah. She looks all right when we're drunk. Oh, dear. I should go out more, shouldn't I? I don't drink. Well, I do drink. I'm not a teetotal, but I don't drink, and that's the problem. That's why I don't go out. There's nothing worse than being the sober one in a pub. And everybody around you's having a whale of a time and all laughing and joking at these silly, silly jokes that you can't see the point of because you're stone cold sober. Yeah. And then when I used to drive, you're always the designated driver on the way home. And you're always taking a carload of drunks home, aren't you? Not funny. Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah. Especially these women, that are on have you seen some of them? And they wear these false kind of faces. It peels off. I've seen them. They look absolutely gorgeous with all their makeup on. And then they start doing these little videos where they take off these plastic faces, don't they? Where it makes the nose slimmer and the face. And underneath, they're quite ugly. I mean, I hate to say that about a woman saying she's ugly, but they are quite ugly underneath, yeah. I mean, you can imagine, can't you? I mean, some of the makeup, the plaster on it changes their faces completely. You can imagine when, the husband walks in and they're in the shower and they've no makeup on, thinking, "Oh, who the heck's this?" Yeah. I can believe it. Honestly, I can believe it. Craft it so. Do you always keep pressing that button? I keep saying this. I always give a thumbs up. I always give a thumbs up. I think it's just stuck on my computer, yeah. Yeah, you see them. They wear fake teeth, don't they? And all this fake nose and stuff. They look gorgeous, don't they? I bet the marriage didn't last. I always think, these celebrities who have new noses, facelifts to make themselves look beautiful, and then they get married and they have children. The children are not going to look like their pretty self, are they? The children could look like they used to look. Yeah, that could be quite a bit of a shock to the husband, couldn't it? Yeah. If their babies, God bless it, looks ugly. It's just, yeah. Because do you know the genes will, well, I'm no beauty. You just do the best you can, don't you, Enid? Oh, the duck lips. Oh, we went to the cafe and there was a woman, she must have been pushing 60. And she come past me with them duck lips, and I'm thinking, oh, you look ridiculous, woman. You're too old for that sort of stuff. It doesn't look good on the young ones, but what the heck when you're pushing 60? From which side, I don't know. But she looks silly. And not only did she have these duck lips, she'd painted them in like pink shiny lipstick, like, And I'm like, oh, God, grow up, woman. You look silly. I don't wear makeup all the time. I do if I'm going out, but if I'm just going to the doctor's or just going to the shop, I don't bother. I do on here because I try to look glam. Doesn't work, but I try. And but I don't wear it all the time. If I had to get up in the morning and plaster myself with makeup, I mean, obviously when I was working, I used to make an effort because I was public facing. And, you try to do your best, don't you? But I mean, there's only so much you can do. Slap a bit of makeup on. There's only so much you can do, isn't there? You know what I mean? But I wouldn't go to the extremes of duck lips and Botox and stuff like that. I mean, when you see some of these Hollywood stars and that, they've spoiled themselves, haven't they? Absolutely ruined themselves. They look so much better when they were. I know they're scared to death about not getting a job. Hollywood thinks they're past it when they're 30 and stuff like that. But, it's sad. That's all I can say is it's sad. And I believe that Katie Price has gone to Turkey again for another facelift. Lord above. There's probably nothing left of her face in a bit. Oh, what? It's obviously an illness, isn't it? She cannot want to keep going and going and going. Oh. Oh, most of the people around here doing the school runs are in the pyjamas, yeah. No, I think they take the kids to school in the pyjamas around here. Well, my son used to go to school on his own. Mine is different era, isn't it? Like I said, it's his birthday soon. I'm not telling you how old he is. But it was safe. Once they get to a certain age, it was safe for my son to go, not on his own. He used to go with his friends. They'd go two or three of them together to school. So I never had to worry about dropping him off in these. I wouldn't have been in my pyjamas because half the time I'd gone to work, yeah. Yeah, Katie, oh, she does. She spoiled herself, hasn't she? Absolutely awful. I think it's obviously got to the stage where it's a mental illness now. People can't stop having facelifts and can't stop having boob jobs and that because they look at themselves in the mirror and they think they look ugly and stuff. I do, but it doesn't make me want to do anything. It's just, well, they've got what the women who launch or lunch or something. Yeah. I mean, where I used to live, there was a certain, lot of rich women who didn't work, whose life just revolved around ladies who lunch, revolved around getting their nails and their hair done and all things like that, and going shopping to all the bougie shops. That was their life. It's a bit like Hollywood housewives, or we've got Cheshire housewives here. They just have nothing else to fill their life because they don't have a job. The children are usually palmed off on somebody else, yeah? They don't actually look after their kids. They've got nannies and stuff like that. Drive to school in the big 4x4s taking up all the road, yeah? But it's like a contest with them. They wouldn't dream of going into the school run. not dressed to the nines because of all the catty comments they get off the other ones. Because women are very cruel. Some women are very cruel. Yeah, as long as you're clean and tidy, my mother used to say. I do try to coordinate, I must admit. I look at some people and I think, why did you pick that jumper to go with that skirt? It doesn't go. I mean, I was a bit, it wasn't so much about being smart or something like that, but I did like to match or tone or whatever, yeah. Oh, the CPAP. When I get up in the morning, no, yeah, on this side, I have a big mark. Val and I wear CPAP machines. If you don't know what that is, it's because we've got sleep apnea. And they have to fit snug. So they've got straps that go around your head. That they don't leave marks, but the straps come here and here. And when you get up in the morning, you've got two lines, like wide lines that are dug into your face. And if you get a mask that doesn't fit you particularly well, it does that. So you get up in the morning looking like that, which isn't a pretty sight. But I've got more wrinkles on my cheeks than I used to. But what do? You've got to live and you've got to not die, haven't you? You get no choice. It's either stop breathing in your sleep with the possibility that you may stop breathing altogether, or wear this silly mask. And the trouble is, you're trying to get to sleep and it's got you're like Nelly the elephant, you're attached to a great hose, because it blows air up your nose. The thing is, if you stop breathing, it breathes for you. It pushes the air up your nose and opens up your airway if you stop, yeah. And it's like sleeping with the Hoover on. It's like white noise. I've got used to it. But occasionally it annoys me because I turn over in my sleep and this thing's in the way, or you find you're lying on the tubing or something like that. So it is annoying. But the wrinkles are annoying. You feel like you try massaging them, every morning. Get rid of these. I mean, I was out somewhere. I had to go early morning someplace or other. I can't remember where I was going now. And this lady said to me, I see you're a fellow CPAP wearer. Yep. How can you tell? Eh, so she recognised the signs, yeah. Oh, you can always tell one when we see one, can't we, Val? That's why I hate going out early morning, because you've got these two lines on your face. I mean, somebody actually said to me one time, you should buy those silk pillowcases. That would help you with the sleep face, when I said, no, it wouldn't, because it's a mask. You can't thread the silk pillowcase. Perhaps if you put a piece of silk underneath the straps, perhaps that might work. I don't know. Because you've got to have them tight enough so that they don't move about, but when they're tight enough so they don't move about, then that means they're tight enough to give you marks on your face, yeah. Can't win. Can't win. And I'm getting two black eyes because this cheap mascara is running down my face now. It's boring, Shan, being normal. I've told you that before. I wouldn't want to be normal. It must be very boring being normal. To conform, do exactly what everybody thinks you should do, act like everybody thinks you should act when you get old. No, be a rebel. I refuse to. I mean, I'm growing old physically. Nothing can help. Nothing can stop you growing old physically. It's the way of the world, isn't it? We're all heading to the grave, aren't we? Some of us are going a bit quicker than others, but it doesn't mean you've got to be old up here. You don't have to be. I hate it when I see women that are like in their 60s and you can tell they've given up. Oh, I'm an old lady now, I can't do this. And I'm like, huh? And I can't physically do the things I would love to do. I would love to go for a walk, go on a trampoline or something like that, but you just doesn't mean I don't think I can do it. I lie in bed in the morning and, think I can do a million things. It's like sorting out, tidying out and everything else. Yeah, well, you know me, I'm a boho at heart. I would wear really hippie clothes all the time. I live in an area where they look at you funny. If you're not wearing beads, they look at you funny. And it really bugs me. I'd love to live somewhere that was really arty. Like one of these places, you have them in America. We have them here, I suppose. So I've got to go back, I've split a stitch. Where you can walk around wearing really hippie clothes and nobody takes any notice of you. You wear anything a bit oddball around here and they're all like, what is she wearing? Yeah. I'm waiting to get my summer dresses out. I didn't get them out at all this year because the weather was so hideous. I want to wear my summer dresses. Maybe I should be like, the royals and wear thermal undies or something like that. Put my summer dresses on over about 16 layers, tights, leggings, big underskirts. I'm determined I will wear my summer dresses this year. I'm not all there, Linda. I'm quite proud to admit I'm not all there. It's happy. If you're all there, you take more notice of what goes on in the world, and that's depressing. If you're too one of these who reads The Guardian and Times, and always knows what's going on in wherever in the world, I prefer not to know. Maybe it's being an ostrich and sticking my head in the sand. Maybe it is. I don't know. Janet, what are you doing? I'm making a mess. It's because I pulled the row back that I was doing, yeah. I'm proud to be not all there, Linda. I'm proud. I've got to the age now. When I was younger, I used to bother what people thought about what I was wearing. And, I was always trying to conform just because I didn't like the public opinion to be against me. But now, to be quite honest, I don't give a stuff. Yeah, definitely Glastonbury. Yeah, I'd love to live there. I should have been living in Hebden Bridge or St Ives when it used to be an artist community. Somewhere where everybody's hearty. We were talking about this the other week, saying a commune. I think I would have loved to have lived in an artistic commune when I was young. I'm too old now. I can't be planting vegetables now and doing anything, yeah. Normal is when you conform to the way that people think you should behave and think how you should be. But I'm definitely not that way, yeah. Oh, goth. I quite like some of the goth things. I love those hats. The fantastic velvety hats with the eyes, the big goggles. They're lovely, aren't they? I went to a craft fair one time and there was a lady there who was quite goth and she had all these corsets and, these goth hats. And I'm like, oh, but can you imagine me walking down the seafront with a goth hat on? No. I've got black velvet skirt and I've got a jacket, which, to be honest with you, it's a bit big. It's lovely. It's got all lace and ribbons, and it's laced all down the back. I do wear it sometimes, but it's a bit big on me now. I bought it when I was like 18 and a half stone. I've kept it because I love it so much. It's very sort of gothic when you wear it with a black skirt. Yeah, I've got a couple of like 3-tiered black skirts. One of them's velvet with gold sequins across it. See, I'm a bit gothy, but I'm more boho really than gothy. You know, you'll never see me in an E-length pleated skirt. And never see me wearing twin satin pearls. Never, ever, ever. I'm definitely not the country set, yeah. I'm more the floaty chiffon, what was she called? Stevie Nicks type of person, yeah. That's the way I'd dress when I have half a chance, yeah. All my summer dresses are a bit like that. You know, very boho-y, very whatever. But you'd never see me in a tracksuit bottoms. I don't own any. You'd never see me wear jeans. It's just the way I am. Everybody has their own taste. I've said that before. But I think you should be allowed to wear what you feel like you are, you know. But I just don't want to wear leggings, jeans. I definitely don't want to wear a pleated skirt, you know, and a twin satin pearls. No. I just don't like what people perceive a normal person who's almost 80 should be wearing, yeah. No, not I. You know, it's whatever people want, but I don't think that you should conform to what you think you should be wearing. This is my argument is, you know, like kids today, they want to dress and look alike, don't they? They all have the same look. They all look alike. They all have ripped jeans on. They all have whatever. And I'm like, no, just dress how you wish to. If you want to wear a dress, wear one. Just because all your mates wear ripped jeans and whatever, yeah. It's just, yeah, it's just whatever, yeah. But I don't think you should wear what society thinks you should wear. This is my argument. I think you should wear what you want to wear. Doesn't matter whether it's fashionable. Doesn't matter if it's what everybody else is wearing. You should wear what you want to wear. If you want to wear your jeans and t-shirt, then you wear your jeans and t-shirt. But if you want to wear a dress and a flowery top and, you know, pair of flip-floppy sandals, wear them, you know. Doesn't matter. People might look at you funny, but stuff them, you know. It's just, I've got to the age now where I don't care. At one time, I would put something on, and if anybody looked at me a bit funny, I'd take it off and I wouldn't wear it again. Now I think, no, I'll wear it and be damned. Yeah, I don't care if they look at me funny. Tough. Val, I know what I was wearing that always gets smiles. It was my purple, what is it? Oh, God, what they call it? Indigo Moon jacket. It's purple velvet and it's got appliqued flowers all over it. And whenever I wear that, I always get complimented on it. The number of people who stop me in the street saying they loved that jacket. I love it. I've got about a dozen of them, different colours. I love them. But the number of people who said to me, oh, it's gorgeous, your jacket is absolutely beautiful, but we couldn't wear it. I'm like, why? Well, you know, it's a bit flamboyant. You look okay in it, but it's a bit flamboyant. We couldn't wear it. And I'm like, If you want to wear it, wear it. I've got them in all different colours, and they're all fancy dancy, yeah. Yeah, that was what I was wearing, Val. I've remembered now. It was my indigo moon jacket with the appliques all over it. Hmm. It was blinking cold the other when I had to go to the doctors for the non-existent injection. Oh God, it was cold. I thought I had Bet's palsy. Oh, my face was like, ooh, so cold. The wind off the sea. And if I go up the seafront, the pavement is atrocious. And when you're in a scooter or a wheelchair, it's blinking uncomfortable. When you, at least if I go up the seafront, it's freezing cold, but it's quite flat. You know, you've not got any curbs that, you know, when you go up the road, you're looking for somebody's driveway because my scooter won't go down a big curb. It won't go down the pavement dip. And then you get idiots who park across the dip bits in the pavement, you know. You know, one of these days they'll be disabled and then they'll know what it's like when somebody parks over the dip bits. You know. I have never worn a short-sleeved crochet top since I came here. Sad, isn't it? It's the wind from the sea. It's just appalling. I should have moved inland. When I win the lottery, I will have a holiday home. I don't want to live abroad, but I would like a holiday home. You know, so that when it's cold and wet and horrible, you can think, I'll pack a bag and I'll go. I'll go to my apartment, my villa. If I won the lottery, it'd be a villa. Not an apartment, villa. But then, you know, you could escape. I mean, one of my neighbours has gone abroad for 2 months. You know, they've got I don't know what they've got, something abroad. They've gone for 2 months. As I say, I never want to live abroad. I don't want to go. Although I do watch that Sophie Grigson when she sold up everything and went to live in Puglia in Italy, yeah. But she's, you know, she's a chef and she writes books and that, so she's probably got some kind of an income, hasn't she, so she can live over there. I mean, I don't know if she does all that cooking. Her kitchen is tiny. But she does have an outdoor kitchen as well. But she cooks a lot of the stuff in. But a kitchen in a apartment, flat, whatever it is she owns, so tiny. But she's still, I mean, she's a big girl, but she's still able to go up and down stairs and steps and things. I'd struggle. I mean, my desire is to go back to Skiathos, but it's all cobblestones and it's all steps. It's like built on the side of a hill, you know, all steps. And I'd struggle, you know, if I went with Miss Folding Scooter, I would struggle like mad. Because I'd never be able to walk, you know, especially if it's uneven. I can't, yeah. But Skiathos, I've been twice now, and I've absolutely loved it. But I suppose it wouldn't be nice if you had to live there in the winter. It'd be nice if you could afford a. Well, it wouldn't be a. Well, it would be a villa. What do they call them? Do they call them villas in Greece? I don't know what they call them. I mean, there was a program on telly, wasn't there, that lady who bought that tumble down place in Skiathos and did it up. But I mean, she's got loads of money. But she did it up lovely. She did it up in traditional style, you know, like she didn't try to spoil it all, you know, like some people do. They go to these lovely places, don't they? And then they try to westernize or whatever you want to call it. She did it up in like the Greek style, yeah. She made it look nice. You know, she kept everything white and blue, which is what they're doing. That's one thing when you go to Skiathos, it just dazzles you. Everywhere is white. They take such pride in their property that they well, not whitewash, but they paint everything white, and all the doors and everything, the windows are always blue. So when you go to Skiathos, that's all you see is white and blue. Yeah. Be nice to paint the shed or a summer house white and blue, wouldn't it? Somebody I know who's got one. Can't think. She's not on YouTube, but she's on Facebook. She's somebody that I know vaguely. And she's painted her garden shed like white and blue, and it looks so pretty. Oh, I don't want to move to Spain now. I'd visit. You know, I'd like a place abroad. You know, you could go for the winter when it's terrible and you know, my old bones don't move so quick. But I wouldn't want to go and live anywhere now. Be nice. No, my bucket list is a cruise. I'd love to go on a cruise. Oh, I'd love to be tall. I'm short and fat. Like a garden gnome. It was worse when I was 4 stone heavier. I was short and very fat. Oh, I'd love to be a statuesque, you know, a 6-footer be good. The funny thing is, when I was young, I always used to attract the very tall boys. You know, they were always well over 6 foot. And my friend, who was quite tall, she used to get all the little short boys looking after her. But she used to say, really annoys me, Janet. She says, you're like, you know, 5 foot squat, and you get all the tall ones. I think the tallest one I went out with was he's called, what was he called? Oh, it'll come to me in a minute. He was 6'5", which was tall back in the 60s. I mean, kids today are tall now, but they weren't back then. He was 6'5". Sav, that's what they used to call him. He was called Ian Savage. And his younger brother, I think he was called David, he was even taller. They were really tall, yeah. But now, I mean, there's quite a lot of kids that are over 6 foot now. But back in my day, I mean, most of the lads were lucky if they reached 6 foot. It's probably the good different food and stuff into each generation seems to be getting taller. I wouldn't want to be super duper tall, but I'd like to be a bit taller than I am. You know, when you're little, you get sort of you go to the bar for a drink, you know, these men all tower over you and get served before you, and you're like, excuse me, I'd like a Coke, please. 2 packets of crisps and a lager, please. Half a lager, please. The creaking about. I watch a lady, she's called Joe Good. She's a DJ thing on the radio. And she's got a friend called Nicole somebody or other. And they do a program on, I think it's on Instagram or somewhere. She's little, she's not even 5 foot. Nadine Baggett, that's the other one. She's like 6 foot. So they do this program like where they go around the high street trying on clothes. You know, she tries to find things that are short, like for her, and Nadine tries to find trousers that are long enough. Yeah. Hello, Lulu. You're going to be listening. Lulu says hi to everybody in the chat. Yeah. I don't think anybody in our family's tall. On either side, my mum's side or my dad's. I don't think we've got any tall ones. Possibly somebody making maybe 6 foot, I don't know. You know, the next generation. I mean, we're on to well, we're on to like the grandchildren stage with children. Because there's like my mum's age group, then there's my age group, then there's the next age group, and then now there's the next age group down. That's how old I am. I mean, some of my cousins, I've lost my cousins because they were like 90. You know, because I wasn't one of the older cousins, if you're with me. I must ring my cousin up now. He's 90. I must ring him up. I'm sure he's still around because I've not heard anything to the contrary. One of my friends is really, really short, and all of her kids tower over her, yeah. It's not that they're tall, they're not. It's just that she's very small. It's actually an emerald green. It's looking more jade on the camera, but it's actually a really bright emerald green. See, after I altered my necklace so that it, you know, Shad could see it, he's not come on. How dare he not come on? And I've put a pin in my necklace specially for him. Oh dear. La 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 la. I used to be about 5'4". Well, I know I've shrunk. I'd be lucky if I was 5'2" now, I think. I've not measured myself. I don't want to be depressed. You know, if I find I'm only 5 foot and I've lost 4 inches, you know, to be a bit depressing. There's a trouble when you get older and your spine compresses. I mean, my mum, she finished up diddy. I mean, she was never tall, my mum, at the best of times. But she was so diddy when she was, you know, before she died. She was tiny, tiny. Yeah, my spine's decided it's going to crumble, I think. But you just keep going, don't you? Keep going, you fool, keep going. I must admit, I did a lot of my sorting today, sat on a chair. I'd stand up for a couple of minutes, do a few little bits and pieces, then sit down, and then try to do some of the jobs I was trying to do while I was sat down. You know, if I was sorting out a drawer or a cupboard, I'd put my chair there, do it from the chair. You just have to do what you can, don't you? I've got my spare computer chair, you know, in with me wool, because I can't stand long enough to sort anything. And especially if I've gone out to look for a pattern or something, I need to sit down. I can't do it. You just have to do what you can do, you know. Yeah, I don't stress anymore. Things get done. If they don't get done at the speed that other people would like them to be done, then that's not your problem, is it? It's somebody else's. Just because you can't do housework at the rate that they want you to do it, or you're not as neat or tidy as they would like you to be. It's just, you do what you can do. I've stopped stressing about it now. I do what I can do when I can do it. I'm not, you know, the house is not dirty. It might not be hoovered as much as everybody else's. I don't hoover every day, or, you know, I don't wash my clothes every day. I save them up until I've got enough and I've got a good day. And I feel, especially when it's warm and I feel like hanging out, Because pegging out, I had to keep pegging out and sitting down, pegging out, sitting down. Because just the action of like lifting up and lifting the club. It's called old age, isn't it? Yeah. But I no longer fret. I just do what I can do when I can do it. So it might take me all day to do something. I've got all day. I'm retired. It's not a big rush anymore, is it? You know, when you're working and you have to get things on the line before you get to work, or you have to rush home and start doing the tea, and makes you wonder how we used to manage, doesn't it? You know, I'd have washing on the line for 7 o'clock in the morning, you know, before I went to work, and you think, mental, must have been mental. Especially when I had the baby and I was working full time. Lord above, I had to get up, get him his washed and sorted, and get him his bottle and do all that. Take my husband to work because we only had one car in those days. A number of times I've driven him to work in my 90. Come back, sort out some stuff, do a bit of washing. Because you know what it's like with a baby. Do a bit of washing, peg it all out, and then get to work for. I mean, I was lucky. My mum, I worked with my mum, and she let me start at 9 o'clock. You know, but the things we used to, the things when I think about what I used to do, it's no wonder I'm like I am. I think I've worn out. I think I wore me back out before I was 30. You know what I mean? And when it was my day off, I'd be there cleaning windows on a ladder and all that. The woman across the road, who was like my age now, she said, "Oh God, Janet," she says, "you make me dizzy." She said, "You never stop on your day off." In fact, bless her, she used to come across and say, "I'm going up the village. Do you want me to take the baby?" And she used to take him in his pram, give me a break, you know. Because when you've got a baby, you've always got like one eye on them, haven't you? Or one ear on them. And when she used to take him, I used to be able to go upstairs, strip the bed off, do loads of things, you know, because I didn't have to keep my eye to him, yeah. And she used to love it because she was a thwarted grandma. Neither of her kids had any kids, you know. So she loved, had a big pram. She loved the big pram, taking it up the village, you know, taking him out for a walk. She said, "What time does he have to be back? What time's his bottle?" I said, "Not till such a time." "Oh, I'll be back by then." Off she used to go with him. I used to love it. I used to get about an hour worth of peace because he was a naughty baby. Very hard to do your housework when you're rocking the baby with one foot while you're trying to dust and hoover, yeah. I used to have to carry him round wherever I was because he wouldn't be left, not for a minute anywhere. I used to have to take him in the bathroom when I wanted to go to the toilet because he'd scream the place down. He was a very difficult baby. So when she used to take him up the village for me for an hour, it was like, oh, bliss. Sometimes I used to think, I'm going to have a bath. I'm going to sit in the bath and luxuriate for an hour while he's gone. You know, I've caught up with my housework, yeah. Because even when I had a night, I used to try put him in bed or something, and he still wouldn't sleep. So he would creeping about, you know. And if he heard the water running for the bath, because he was in the bedroom next door, oh, wide awake. "Mommy, mommy, can I come in the bath with you?" Oh. I said, "You've had your bath." "No, come in with you." When he was old enough, he used to strip his clothes off and climb in. Oh, blimey. I used to say to my ex-husband, "Will you just look after him for half an hour while I have a damn bath?" Eee. No wonder I'm worn out. No wonder I'm worn out. Worn my body out before my time. Yeah. Yeah, now things get done when they get done, don't they? Yeah. No race anymore. I don't think St. Peter stands at the gate and says, "You didn't, you do, you dusted before you came." I don't want it written on my tombstone. Oh my God, she was such a clean woman. She dusted and hoovered every day. I'd rather somebody wrote on it, "Oh, she was such good fun." She always had a laugh. I'd rather somebody said that, yeah. Profanity, I don't like too much of it. I don't like, I really don't like women swearing. I don't know what there is. I just don't like women. No, don't type it, honey. I don't want to get banned. They ban you for anything if you get rude words and stuff. Or if you say a rude word, yeah, you get banned. I don't want to be banned. I really hate women swearing. I know it's sexist or whatever, but I just don't. And especially when they've got young children with them. I really think that's awful. It's like, to me, it's like lowering yourself. You know, I know you can't help people do it all the time, but I just don't like to hear it. You know, when they're dragging little kids around with their armpits, effing and jeffing at them. And I'm thinking, that's not nice. Be ladylike. Don't swear in front of your kids when they're 2 and 3 years old. I nearly got punched by a woman once because I pulled her up. I mean, it wasn't the fact that she was swearing, it was the fact that she was yanking this kid around with its arm. She nearly had its blinking shoulder out of its socket. She was yanking it. And I'm like, don't do that. My son now, I mean, he's not telling you how old he is because it makes me sound old. If he swears in front of me by accident, he'll go, "Oh, sorry, Mum." As big as he is, he won't swear in front of me. And I think that's a mark of respect. I'm glad I brought him up like that. He can do what he wants when he's with his friends, but I just don't like to hear him. I can remember swearing at my husband once when he violently, oh, he'd pushed every button known to man one day and I swore at him. It stopped him dead in his tracks because he'd never heard me swear before. But he just riled me up that day that there was no other word that would do, you know. I was so mad with him. So I gave him a mouthful and he was like, "What?" Because he didn't really swear. I mean, I must admit he didn't. Or if he didn't do it in the house. But some kids today, you know, they can't think of another adjective, can they? I'm getting the swing of this. I went to hospital so many times in years gone by, you know, with my back and my spine and everything about me. And I always used to have one of these on the go because I don't know what there was about the orthopaedic department at North Manchester General, I'll name it. No, it was Salford Royal, sorry. Salford Royal. It was always 3 hours of a job. It didn't matter what time your appointment was. You were always in there about 3 hours. And then you'd sit there, sit there, sit there. Then you'd go in to see the specialist, and then they'd say, "We need another X-ray." Oh. So then you had to trundle along to the X-ray department and sit there for another hour. So I always had a virus shawl in a little kind of, people call them like a sock, knitting bag, little tiny little thing. Looks like a little Dorothy bag. I always took one of those with me. And I used to feel like a monkey in the zoo because they'd all be sitting in the waiting room watching me do it. Because they'd never, I mean, there were people who used to come the same amount of time as I did. And I used to think, why do they never think to buy a newspaper or bring a book with them? They know how long they're going to be waiting. They know it's going to be 2 and 3 hours of a job, yeah? Why don't they bring something to do? I didn't like bringing me knitting because you didn't like leaving your knitting in the middle of a row, yeah? That's naughty, Enid. We have a lady with us at Knit Club, Val knows who I mean, and she jumps a mile if you go unexpectedly near her or touch her. She must have really good reflexes. She doesn't swear. She's too ladylike for that. But she just every time you go anywhere near her. One of these days she'll have a heart attack. But she never seems to be aware of anybody coming up behind her or tapping her on the shoulder or anything. Somebody taps her on the shoulder, she jumps a mile. Her reflexes are trigger. Oh, I don't think she was abused, no. I just think she's just miles away. So when you, like, you know what I mean, miles away, thinking about something else. Yeah, I always took my crocheting. I never took my knitting because my knitting is, I don't like leaving it in the middle of a row or something. But as usual, everybody used to say, "Oh, what are you knitting?" Nobody ever asked me, "What you crocheting?" It was always, "Oh, what are you knitting?" And then you get the men, "Oh, my mum used to knit," or "Oh, my grandma used to knit." Not knitting. Knitting has 2 needles, crochet has 1. Tell you what bugs me. When you're watching the telly and there's somebody there with a crochet blanket or something, and somebody in the props has given them a pair of knitting needles, and you're like, that's crochet. She should have a crochet hook. Or they give them a pair of knitting needles and some knitting, and it's obviously they cannot knit. Why do you use it as a prop? I mean, at least the people who used to play Miss Marple used to be able to knit, didn't they? They were always knitting. They could always do it. But do you ever play that game when you're watching, like soap operas and different things like Spot the Crochet Blanket? Everywhere they have granny square blankets, don't they? On the back of sofas, back of chairs. And you play, stop, another one. Nearly everyone, like Coronation Street or something like that. And they do it in America. I mean, I've watched it on like Friends and things like that. There's always a crochet blanket, always a granny square crochet blanket. Yeah, that's probably right, Linda. You're right. They were all knitting squares, and then it was a crochet blanket. There's even a blanket, isn't there, called the midwife? Yeah. The only one I've seen properly knitting is the old one. The old nun, the really really old one. She's actually knits when she was knitting for a baby, and she was actually doing it, and she was actually knitting. She could do it, yeah. What am I doing here? 2, 4, 6, 8. I've done 10. Yeah, they always have crochet blankets. Everywhere has crochet blankets. Sister Monica Joan, that's the one. She could actually knit because she was actually knitting a baby's cardigan on one episode. Or booties. I can't remember what she was doing, but she was doing something and she was actually doing it. She wasn't pretending, standing there looking gormless with a pair of knitting needles. Yeah. But I mean, it is authentic because it's set into the 50s, into in the early 60s, and babies did wear hand knitteds then. There was none of this mother care and baby gap back then. Well, if there was, they wouldn't have had the money for it, would they? Because it is geographically true in the fact that Poplar was always very poor, you know. Because there is a place called Poplar and it was all very poor. Where are you going, Janet? What are you doing? Right, 2, 4, 6, 8. You've only done 9 there, 10. I watch a programme called Through Lucy's Lens, and she goes to all these museum type places, you know, that are like, they'll take a house or a place brick by brick, they'll take it down and they'll rebuild it in this museum. And she was, the other week, she was doing, you know, like yeah, she does a bit of history. She's called Through Lucy's Lens. Yeah. She's not Lucy whatever. She's not that one that does the boring historical things. No, this one goes back usually just to the sort of war type years, the 40. Social history she does more than anything. And last week she was going into, you know, like the baby clinic, like we used to go, or you used to go to the, get your babies weighed and you get, you know, your orange juice and your dried milk and everything. And she was saying it's usually held in schoolhouse, you know, old church houses and things like that. I can remember going with my son and it was exactly like that. When he was little, we used to go to an old Methodist church to get him weighed. It was a social thing because you met other mothers, you know, you went with your baby and they had their inoculations there and, you know, they got weighed and you had a little book and then you could, I think you got free orange juice or something, free cod liver oil or something like that. Can't remember now, but some things were free. And if you bought the baby milk from there, it was always discounted prices. It wasn't like a full price like it would be in the shop. Because probably they didn't put the profit on it, did they? They just sold it for what they paid for it. So I used to buy his powdered milk there because it was much cheaper than the shop. But I mean, I met, you know, when you've had a baby and you've been, A, I had a baby, B, we'd only moved into the area. So I didn't know anybody there. So I made some nice friends, you know, through the baby clinic. Yeah. We used to go to each other's houses for a coffee. It was a bit of socialism, yeah. Oh, good night, Connie. Hope you have a nice weekend. I'll probably have to sort out the mess I've left behind today. I can get in bed. I've not put anything on the bed. Oh, that's nice. Maybe you make some pals online. Like-minded people. I mean, that's why I didn't start doing videos in the first place. I started doing ordinary blog, you know, writing, putting the photographs up. It was just a diary, really, for myself. It was never really intended to be anybody watching or doing anything. when I first started it, I intended it to be like an online record of what I was doing, you know, and for myself as much as anybody else. And then I got fed up of all the writing and fed up of all the, you know, the just putting photos and chatting and that. I got fed up with it all, so I decided I'd just do videos. But when I started the YouTube, it wasn't for anybody else. It was just, you know, for me to keep a diary, really, an online diary for myself. But like Topsy, it just grew. God, I bet you can't even read that book now, Topsy. Be classed as racist, wouldn't it, or something? I can remember reading Topsy. She was a little black girl. I bet you can't have it now. It'll be banned or something. Bet none of you are old enough to remember Topsy. It's like Mowgli. I mean, that was before it was called the Jungle Book. I used to read the Mowgli books about this little boy that lived in the jungle, brought up with the monkeys and the animals, yeah. But it wasn't called the Jungle. I swear it wasn't called the Jungle Book. It was called Mowgli. It was a little tiny book I used to read. All these books you can't get anymore because they class them as, oh, you can't do that. Oh, you can't have that anymore. It's like all the Enid Blyton books, yeah. Can't read this book because of that. You can't read that book. I mean, it's history, isn't it? Historical books. Why? Why? All these snowflakey people. It's like Baba Green Sheep, isn't it? You know, it's just ridiculous. Yeah, nobody ever gets it right, do they? They always say crochet and knitting. But they never say crochet. They always say it's knitting. Manny, I follow a Japanese woman. She's called Anu or something. And she said in Japan, they only have a word knitting. It's knitting with one stick, that's crocheting, or knitting with two sticks is what we would call knitting. But they don't have a word for crochet. It's knitting with one stick. How weird is that? Because she'll say, I'm doing my knitting when she's obviously crocheting, yeah. When the subtitle underneath says, I am doing my knitting. I think she's called Anu or Anu, something like that. What's that? Oh, it must be the telly upstairs. Something was going boom, boom. Shall I eat my Kit Kat? Have a break, have a Kit Kat. I should really finish my row, shouldn't I? But I'm doing all right with it. Look, 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 look. Very pretty. This pattern drove Z up the pole. She was following a video and she was all right until the video stopped. Oh, Millie Molly Mandy, yeah. And I had Janet and John books as well. Because it was so funny when I was in school. I was Janet and I was sat next to a guy called John Broadbent. So every time we read the Janet and John books, everybody used to say, oh, Janet and John. Oh, I don't know why I was sat next to him for. I wonder why they started calling it amigurumi instead of calling it knitted toys. It was never called that when I was young. It was always a knitted toy. It wasn't an amigurumi. I think it's all this animated little, you know, this like Hello Kitty stuff, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, that woman I watch, Passionate Kelsey. She does a lot of crochet and that. But she watches them also. I mean, she's 28-year-old. She's not a kid. And she watches these really stupid animated things. Laughing and laughing her head off. And I'm thinking, they're for kids. You're 28. Grow up. But the Japanese are crazy, aren't they, about that animated stuff? I don't think we are over here so much. Macintosh, I've not heard them. No, with me it was Janet and John. Funny enough, when I was watching that program about the where they take the kids, you know, to get them weighed and that, they had these little books on display, and one of them was a Janet and John. Oh, Scotty dogs, yeah. I watched another program where this woman went into a cafe and they were all dressed like anime, you know. I'm thinking, you look so stupid. You know, little pigtails in their hair and stuff. I mean, they were all Japanese or Chinese or something. And they had little short skirts on, you know, white tights and little shoes. And I'm thinking, you look stupid, you lot. Why are you dressed like that? Like children. They dress like children, don't they, when they're adults, yeah? I don't understand it. I don't think we do that over here. I've never seen anybody dressed like an anime. I sometimes watch a lady, she's called Kiko something or other. She does a lot of embroidery and that. There's never any words on hers. It's all like subtitles. Yeah, they're really weird, some of them. I mean, they have these karaoke bars, don't they? And where the men go and drink whiskey and sing karaoke. Women are nowhere around. What about those strange sleeping pods? Hi, Lulu. Those strange sleeping pods they have. I think it's in Japan. They usually have them at train stations and places like that. And they look like little coffins. You just crawl in them and sleep. No, thank you. Got my chocolates down my jumper. Mm. I'm claustrophobic. I remember when I was younger, we went on a sailing holiday, and one of the berths in the boat was single, and you went right down, and it went to a point. So it was like sliding down a cannon, you know. And it was supposed to be my son's bed. We were supposed to be in the double bed. He would not sleep in that bed. No, no, no. So he slept in the double bed with his dad, and I had to go in this. Alan's excuse was, I'm too big to fit in there. I can't fit in there. Oh, good night, Traffing it so. Sophie, isn't it? Sophie? Yeah, Sophie. I think it's Sophie. And it was awful sleeping down that sleep. You couldn't turn over. It was like, how much skin? How on earth they expected an adult to sleep in that, I don't know. And the front of the boat was weird because the bed was like where it went to a point, so you had to sleep with your feet down towards the point bit of the front. The bow bit, yeah. It was only a little yacht. It actually said it slept 6. I'd like to know where. There was 4 of us and 2 children, and we struggled, yeah. Oh, you'd never get me in one of those pods, no. My mum's caravan was okay, but some of them, there was a little tiny, like a little coffin room with a double bunk in it for kids. There was hardly room for the kids to get in. They called it a bedroom. You had to be a very tiny child to have fitted in those bunks, yeah. And my mum's caravan, they had the bedroom, obviously. We always finished up, on the dining table that converted into... tonight's tipple is orange, 0 sugar. We always finished up on the, the bed that converts from the table and the 2 bunks, yeah. Very uncomfortable. And my son used to refuse to sleep in one of those bunk things. Well, we did as well, couldn't fit in it, in the second so-called bedroom. So he used to sleep on, one of the sofa lounges. I mean, they're not meant for comfort, some of these. I mean, some of the caravans are very luxurious, but, I mean, my mum's was a nice caravan, really, but it still wasn't. Still only really had 1 bedroom when all was said and done. Yeah, I'm getting on with my virus. Oh, there we go. It's growing. A number of these I did them in my sleep, near enough. I'm getting it. And when I first started it, it was like I'd never done it before in my life. I want to do another of those blue curacao. I made loads and loads of those blue curacao shawls. It's by Doris Chan. I tried it about 12 months ago, and it was like I'd never done it before. I'm like looking at this chart like it's a foreign language. And I'm like, God, Janet, you made loads of these. What's stopping you? Maybe I just wasn't in the mood, so maybe I'll have another go one day. They're beautiful. But the trouble is you can't get just the pattern. You've got to buy the whole book, and Doris Chan doesn't do them anymore. I think they might be out of print now. It's a beautiful shawl. It's like those. I mean, I don't knit. Well, I do knit, but I don't knit on them big long worms. Those Stephen West shawls that everybody's like got a cult about them. I mean, they've got 600, 900 stitches on, haven't they? Yeah, I've got the book, so I'm all right. But I know people have said to me, where's the pattern from? And I went, you'd have to try and get the book. It's on, one of Doris Chan's. I mean, she's probably retired. That's probably why she stopped, because she wasn't young when she did all the 3 books that she did. I think she did 3. Then she stopped now. She doesn't do any of them. She probably got fed up. But I mean, at one time it was everybody made them. She was very difficult to understand, though. She used to jump around from one page to the other. I remember the first one I did. Somebody said to me, "Who's this Japanese woman you keep swearing at?" Oh, I don't think I've got that one. I've got a few Jean Greenhouse, but I don't think I've got that one. I don't really knit. I kept them because, they're nice little patterns, aren't they, Jean Greenhouse? I know I've got the one with the ducks, little ducks on the front. I've got that one. I've got a few, but I cannot remember what I've got because they're in the shed, my patterns. And they're in a great big, they're not even sorted out. It's just a nightmare in there. I've meant to sort them out since I came here, to put them, cardigans in one leaflet book, sweaters in another. They're just all jumbled up together. And people many times see what I'm wearing and say, "Have you got, what's the pattern number?" And I go, "Oh my God, it's in the shed. I don't want to have to go ploughing through everything." It's bad enough when I want to find a pattern and I have to go and plough through everything. I mean, when I was lived in Prestwich, I had them all in folders and I knew exactly where any pattern was. I didn't have to plough through everything. But since I've been here, I've never been that organised. I keep saying I'm going to do it, and I go in the shed with the will and a way, and after I've been in there 5 minutes, I'm like, "Oh, I've had enough of this now." It's just not. I think it's the fact that it's in a shed and it's not in my house. Before, it used to be in a bedroom in my house. And I used to sit up there and I didn't mind, because I was in a bedroom and I had a window. But I've never settled really in the shed, yeah. It's got one little window and it's quite dark and you have to put the light on if you want to see anything. It's not a very inspiring environment, if you know what I mean. When I win the lottery, of course, I'm going to have this big house and it's going to have a huge craft room. Massive craft room it's going to have, and it's all going to be fitted out with IKEA Billy bookcases and yeah. Of course. We can all dream, can't we? We can all dream. When I can't sleep sometimes, I'm like, what would I do if I won the lottery? Where would I go? What would I do? First thing I would do would be book a cruise. I have to get a passport first, though, wouldn't I? But book a cruise. It's on my bucket list before I die. I want to go on a cruise. I don't mean a scruffy cruise. I mean a nice, you know, not quite round the world, but you know what I mean? Somewhere warm, somewhere nice. Yeah. That's where I'd like to be, on a cruise. You can just see me there, can't you, on the deck chair like Miss Marple doing my crochet. Having a little swim in the pool. Can't swim much, but I can swim in the pool. Doing my laps with my scooter. My little scooter going around, doing the laps round. Of course, I would have a suite. I wouldn't have a little pokey cabin, I'd have a nice big suite on deck. Ones with a view. The ones that they always give, what's she called, Jane McDonald, yeah. Not the ones that we get with a little portal, you know. Do you remember Z going on that cruise with Mikey? She didn't like that one. She liked the cruise. She finished up just going off the ship because she couldn't abide him. I think he rubbed her up the wrong way. And I don't mean that in a physical kind of way. She didn't see eye to eye with him. I think he belittled her because she can't read patterns. She can do things, you know, if you ever watch Z, but she can't read a pattern. I've always wanted to go on a crochet retreat. I think I said that another week ago. But I wouldn't want to go on one of them cruises, no. Well, not with Mikey, I wouldn't anyway. No, I know Z is the nicest possible person. She's lovely. But I think he made fun of her or said something horrible to her because she doesn't read a pattern. And then he was nasty to somebody else who'd gone on and didn't know how to crochet. And he said, kind of, I thought it was obvious that people wouldn't. I'm not here to teach people how to crochet. I'm here to give, you know, instructions. But I mean, you know, like Z had said, it wasn't made clear on the blurb, you know, for this cruise that you had to be a crocheter to go. This lady had gone hoping that she would learn how to crochet, and he sort of showed her up, you know what I mean? It wasn't nice. Thought it was obvious, you know, that you needed to crochet to come on this. So Z wasn't impressed at all. She said he was a jerk. Yeah. Ooh, going through the Rockies with. I don't think that's a good combination, though. Do you think that knitting and wine? I think I'd be going wrong. Depending on how many glasses of wine you get. Yeah, well, I mean, I just don't watch the guy. But apparently, the Z said she was not impressed with him at all. She said he was quite rude, yeah. Well, I've never really. Are you going, Lulu? Night night. I've never really watched any of his videos, really. I just don't. My mum went on a train through the Rockies many years ago. Uh, she was visiting my cousin who lives in Canada. They went on the train through the Rockies. And they, you know, they were in the observation car, and they always have somebody there that points out everything. My mother thought it was lovely, yeah. I've never tried any of his tutorials, to be quite honest. Yeah, well, that's where my cousin lived in Vancouver. She was my cousin, but she was like my dad's age. His eldest sister had her when she was 16, and my dad would be about 4. So they were brought up together, even though she was his niece, if you're with me. So I never called her my cousin, I always called her auntie. Oh dear. I was laughing at Sheila. She found a bag that she'd crocheted when she was sorting out. She finished up turning it into a hot water bottle cover. She said it just fits a hot water bottle. No, my mum and dad decided to break their journey and go on this because they were told how lovely it was to go through the Rockies on this train. So they were going to stay with my cousin, like I say, in Canada, in Vancouver. But they took the train. Who were talking about? Mikey. Crochet Crowd, did he call us about? He's very arrogant, yeah. Boo, 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 boo. Boo, 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 boo. Why do I keep humming, dashing through the snow? Oh, King Cole. I've got that King Cole pattern, I think. I don't like knitting on big needles. They hurt my hands. Yeah, it could be a cat bag needed, yeah. Terry used to make a lot of cat. What's she called? Randy. I could never say her name. It was something like Randy's Rambling, whatever it was. She used to make loads and loads of cat hats, didn't she? I think she had a tutorial. Rambling Randy. Oh, you know what I mean, don't you, Sean? She doesn't crochet as much now because she went to be a massage therapist, didn't she? She trained to be one of those. That's why she doesn't crochet much. She did make a video actually the other day. She writes like gothy type vampire novels. She writes books as well. But she made cat hats, yeah. I could never remember the name of her channel though. Rambling Randy's something or other. It was a right mouthful. It was all like alliteration, wasn't it? It was all the R's, wasn't it? But every time I said it, everybody go, "Oh, we know what you mean." But she stopped making videos. In fact, she's made a couple the other day. She's made she suddenly came back onto my Facebook again. That's what reminded me because she just made some cat hats. That's what reminded me. Something like that. I know it was like alliteration. It was all the R's, wasn't it? But after she got divorced, she trained as a massage therapist, didn't she, to get money, like, you know. And then she was so busy doing that and getting the qualifications that she seemed to stop crocheting. She started writing as well. Not my kind of books, but, you know, each to their own, isn't it? Yeah. I used to like watching her. Because when I first started watching her, she was still married, yeah. That other lady's a weird one, isn't she? Alt Nuts. Do you ever watch her? She's very gothy. She likes those crochet hooks. Oh, God, what they're called. Oh, she buys every one that comes out. All the sets, all the different ones. She buys the full set every time they come out. She knits and crochet. Well, she crochets some weird things. She wears really weird makeup. Well, weird to me. I'm not a goth, am I? I bet you'd like her, Sian. Yeah, she's called Alt Nuts. She must have loads of money because she buys always the nicest yarn, you know, the fancy yarn. And then these crochet hooks thing that she buys, the full set of, what are they called? Oh, she's renamed it now. What are the fancy hooks called? Oh, I should know. Ephraim bought me one. Should know what they're called. I think Nathan wanted one, but they're really expensive crochet hooks. It's got to bug me now till I remember. Furls, that's it, Furls hooks. Every time Furls brings a new set of hooks out, she buys the full lot in all the sizes. And they keep bringing them out with different kind of handles, you know, different colours. She buys the whole lot every time. They must cost her a bomb because they're a few quid each. So how much a full set would be? Two, 4, 6, 8. I find Furls hooks a bit too heavy for me. You know, the handle's heavy. I won't part with it though because it was a gift. It was a gift from Ephraim for me to try. But sadly, I can't use it. I've also got one of them light up hooks as well that somebody sent to me because they couldn't use it, but it's run out of batteries now. I don't know which one Randy uses. I think she goes round and round and round, and then she sews it up at the top or crochets it together at the top. They were all a fashion at one time, weren't they, those little hats? It was all to do with that march, weren't it? They were all wearing them pink, weren't they? Oh, that was Dina. Yeah, Dina. She's on Instagram sometimes, Dina. She's called Coffee Cats. But she doesn't she used to do some beautiful hats, didn't she, on the looms, donate them to charity. After she moved house, she moved from the swamp and got herself a nice house. And after that, she really didn't do many videos. But she comments sometimes on my Instagram. She comes under Coffee Cats. That's Dina. Yeah, they were good old days, weren't they? I still hear from Zoe now and again, but she doesn't really, you know, she works now and she does a lot of admin for different things like that, and she never has time to do any knitting these days. I mostly remember Zoe for those. Do you remember the triceratops and everything that she made with all those like hexagons, didn't she? She made all those massive sort of toy things. No, but Dina, she used to spend a fortune and give it all to charity to the churches. She used to make some beautiful hats on those looms, yeah. I always remember she was always chewing gum. She chewed gum the whole time she did a video. Yeah, did she make the bear? I know she did the triceratops, didn't she? That's what I remember Zoe from us. And she made loads of bedspreads, didn't she? Some beautiful, beautiful bedspreads. Because she used to go to America. Well, she still does. But every time she went to America, she'd buy enough American yarn, wouldn't she, and bring it back with her in a suitcase to make enough for a bedspread. Oh, the Doctor Who scarf. Oh, that went on forever, didn't it? It was about 9 foot long. We're talking about a lady that used to do videos. She was called 24 Carat Crochet, called Zoe. It's amazing how many people. Yeah, we used to have Zoe, didn't we? Didn't we have? Oh no, we didn't, did we? I was just thinking we had Denise on, but we didn't, did we? Oh yeah, it was Denise, wasn't it? Yeah, that we had. Denise does a Zooms now with her friends. I did join in on one of Denise's Zooms. I mean, don't get me wrong, they were lovely, lovely people, but they were all bougie knitters, and Stephen West fans and that. And I felt a little bit out of it really as being a crocheter, because I'm not a Stephen West fan. I mean, some of his scarves are looking nice, but I just wouldn't knit one because I couldn't deal with having about 600 stitches on my needle. But there's some people who are really like in this fan club, aren't they? They can't wait for everyone he brings out. And they're there with his knit alongs, and I'm not that dedicated. Plus the fact, I mean, they're all done in hand dyed yarns, aren't they? And I can't afford all that sort of stuff. I mean, I'm going to this show in Blackpool. That'll be all bougie yarn, as Amora calls it. I mean, it's nice. I'll probably get one skein. I usually treat myself to one skein or one nice crochet book or something. I just go for the atmosphere and go to have a look round, and I'm rubbish at videoing anything, so you probably won't get a very good video. Amora will probably go. She will probably do it. I mean, I'm usually in my little small scooter, so half of the time I can't get into the booths close enough to actually see what they're selling. I'd have to get off my scooter, and to try to get in to have a look. And if they're crowded, they're like bees around a honey pot. You can't get close enough to half of these stalls. I just give up because I get fed up. I mean, this one might not. This one's held at a hotel, so it might not be as bad as that. But usually they're held in a cattle market, and the paving's so uneven. I mean, it's deliberately uneven so that the cattle won't slip. The sheep won't slip, and it's full of like gullies, and because when they hose it down, like they've got all these gullies and gutters, so it's a nightmare for me when I'm in my scooter. I mean, I haven't got a walker with a seat anymore because the one I had was faulty and it tipped me off it. So But there's a lot of shops around here that sell second-hand walkers, you know. Maybe I might find another one with a seat, because I'm not paying a load of money for one when I don't use it very often. They're quite expensive, the ones on there. Because this one came via somebody else, but the brakes didn't work. You're supposed to lock the brake on before you sit down. My brakes wouldn't lock. I didn't have enough hand power to pull them up. So I sat on it and it went backwards and I cracked my head and got some very spectacular bruises. That was the last time I went to... yeah, we got the afternoon tea. I might try and get myself a wheeler, you know. There's a second-hand shop that sells them, you know, by the Ferry Cafe. Well, further up than the Ferry Cafe on the way to the doctor's. I might try to get one with a seat, you know, because my little wheeler has a tripod thing and it doesn't have a seat. So when I get weary, I can't sit anywhere. I don't know who Sophia is. I know Jeanette's going to be there from Crafty Clegs, and so is Karen, and I bet Amora goes. I don't know what her real name is, Amora. But I don't know who Sophia is. If it's a knitting channel, you see, I probably don't watch her. I know Naked Sheep said she wasn't going, so she won't be there. And Davina won't be there because it's too far. Yeah, I let mine go. I mean, it was practically new, but because it had fallen with it, because he's tipped me off it, I just didn't feel secure with it anymore. I couldn't pull the brakes up for some reason or another. I think they were faulty. I couldn't grip it tight enough, you know, and you have to lock the brake on before you sit on it, otherwise it rolls away and tips backwards, which is what it did with me on it. So after that, I didn't trust it anymore. So when I was moving here, I got rid of it. I gave it to the bloke down the street for his mum, but he was a mechanic, you know, by trade. So I said to him, he said, "Oh, I'll sort the brakes out. Don't worry before I give it." I said, "Don't give it your mum." I said, "Until, you know, you've sorted that brake out." I said, "Because I don't want her falling off it." Oh, you're joining the Pink Cat Hat Brigade, are you? Yeah, I don't think they've let me know my lottery's come up. Man, you've got a weekend booked, haven't you, for later? But it's a flying whistle stop, isn't it? You're only gone for the weekend, aren't you, Linda? I don't suit hats. I look. Some people can just jam any old hat on their head and look fantastic. I don't suit a hat. I've tried all sorts. Yeah, 7 weeks. But you're only coming for the weekend, aren't you? You're not coming for a long stop. How many hours does it take you on the coach, though, to come down? Take you hours, doesn't it? Take you knitting. It's hours of a job. Are you meeting up with your friends, or is it just you on your own? I don't suit beanies. I've got a little head and flat hair. So a beanie, no. The hat I used to wear when I was younger was a fur bonnet, and I used to love that fur bonnet. I think it was because it had height, coming round. I've looked and looked for another one, and I did find what I thought was one before I moved here. But when it arrived, it was a tatty thing. The fur was horrible. Mine wasn't real fur, obviously, when I was, younger, but it was fluffy and it looked like real fur, even though it was nylon. And it was black, it was gorgeous. I don't know why I ever got rid of it. Probably because I thought it was old-fashioned or something. But I'd wear one now, because a bonnet would keep my ears warm. You're meeting your friends. You'll have a good time, even if it's only the weekend. How come it's only the weekend? Is that all you can spare? Or, can you not stay longer? Why, the weather won't be that good, will it? It's been dreadful walking down the prom in this lot. God, I can remember Blackpool being gorgeous and sunny and beautiful. The weather hasn't half changed over the last few years. When I was a teenager and I used to go, the weather was always beautiful. Or is it my memory? Summers were always nicer when I was a kid. But they were. I can remember being a kid and, the summers when they were 6 weeks long when he was a kid. I can't remember ever being stayed in because of rain. I have no doubt there's a lot of cross stitchers living in Blackpool. It's just that they probably don't have YouTube channels. Yeah, it's hardly worth getting your, I've got to say, getting your costume out, but nobody swims these days in Blackpool. The seas that are disgusting. It might be where you live, Sian, but there was no summer last year. We had about 2 or 3 days. It was bitter last summer. I never got a summer dress out once last summer, or a short sleeve, not even a t-shirt. I wore a cardigan all summer. No chance of getting a sunburn here. I think it was a lousy summer, though, everywhere last year. Except you yet kept saying, Sian, oh, it's too hot down here, it's too hot. And I'm thinking, where should bloody live? It wasn't too hot up here. It was definitely cold up north. Da, 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 da. Oh, stop singing. Dashing through the snow. Yeah, it was. I think that was the one nice day we had, Linda. I actually took my coat off that day, didn't I? If you remember, I arrived with the coat on. That's how cold it was coming down the seafront. And then the sun came out. I better put my coat on on way home. 1, 2, 3. I wouldn't have said scorching, it was warm. I didn't get sunburned. You must have fair Scottish skin, Linda. You're a sensitive white soul. My friend was Irish and she used to burn like mad because she was white. Irene used to say she vied with a milk bottle for white legs, yeah. Do you know I never went hot with my menopause? In fact, I just sailed through it, I never. Yeah, we both had our hexy cardigans on. It was funny that because neither of us had discussed it, did we, before we went? Yeah, I met Linda and we both had the same, different colours, but we both had the same cardigan on. I want to make another Frida Kahlo cardigan. Oh, how nice. You get some lovely neighbours, you do, Shan. Are they the ones that used to climb through the window to go to the pub? Or is it a different set? She's had some peachy neighbours, haven't you, Shan? Some great ones. I've got another one, but it's too big. I think I'm going to have to open up a Vinted to get rid of some of my things. I mean, you know, they're not new. They're worn, but they're not knackered, if you know what I mean. Maybe they'll sell them Vinted. I've never done a Vinted. I've done eBay, but I don't have a whole lot of success with that. I bought a lot of dresses mail order, was it last year? And when they arrived, sold every one of them for a loss, yeah. Well, it's better than the one I had next door that used to go off and leave hers. A number of times I told social services, but they kept saying, no, we've been round, and she swears there's sisters in there looking after them and babysitting. She doesn't go out and leave them. I live next door. I know. Her sister never comes near. She used to go out on the razzle in a taxi and leave her babies at home on their own. I used to say to her, you know, there could be an accident one of these days. Oh, they're not on their own. I said, they are on their own. These babies used to wake up and scream for their mum for hours and hours on end. And she was out in the town, you know, coming back in a taxi at all hours of the morning. These babies would be screaming and screaming and screaming. They were 1 and 3. But social services, they're not interested. I think they had me as a vindictive neighbour. I wasn't. I was just more bothered about them babies. You know, what if she was a smoker, so what if she'd have left a lighter around or left matches or something? I mean, that woman's just been jailed, hasn't she, for going shopping and leaving 2 sets of twins on their own, and the house burnt down and killed them. She's just been sentenced. She'd gone off to the supermarket for hours on end and locked them in. Yeah, it was in the paper the other day that she's got sentenced. And that other one, he's got a life sentence, hasn't he? For murdering them 3 little girls at Southport at the dance class and attempted murder of the others. He sounds all right. A right nutter. Yeah, he was weird, wasn't he? But I mean, he'd been in trouble before. They knew kind of what he was like, and yet they didn't follow him through, did they? It's scary that they seem to hang the wrong people, social services, and then they let the real nut jobs through. Oh, yeah. He's about as Welsh and a schoolboy as I am, I think. Oh, they're asking Keir Starmer to step in and saying that he can't have a life sentence or something or other, I don't know. These psychiatric, should never come out. Yeah, but he was showing all these tendencies and signs. Why weren't they keeping an eye on him before? Why did they let him run amok? Well, you seen the photograph of him, Munchkin? He looks a right weirdo. Well, yeah, I think he'll be seen to when he's in prison because they don't like child abusers, do they? They have their own form of punishment. Oh gosh, when I was a kid, if you missed a day at school, you'd have the school board knocking on your door. Yeah, nowadays they don't go in for weeks, do they? And nobody says a word. Gosh, it's not snowing again, is it, Enid? You won't be going for a walk today in that then. Has she got your Wellingtons on? Yeah, I think you're right there, Munchkin. I think he did, yeah. Yeah, they deal out their own kind of justice, don't they? Yeah, I won't go out on my scooter when it's snowing. I think I'd get bogged in. Yeah, he's still alive, I think, yeah. More's the pity. Ian Huntley was, a few years back, he was a caretaker at a school. And thank you, Autumnly. He pretended, when these two little girls went missing, he pretended to go out and look for them and everything. And all the time it was him who'd killed them, two little girls. But he was in all the papers, like, pretending that he was so upset about these little girls and that he knew them and all this jazz. And he'd been out looking for them and all that. And all the time it was him. And his girlfriend at the time knew all about it as well. She got sentenced, didn't she? Because she'd shielded him and covered up for him. Yeah, anyway, a few weeks ago, I think he got his throat slashed from another inmate. Hi, Denise. Hey. Oh, there's some nutty people around. I mean, there'll always be nutty people, but they're getting worse. I mean, there'll always be murder. There's been murder since Adam was a lad, hasn't there? There'll always be murder. But I mean, at one time, it was just somebody murdered somebody else. I mean, I'm not condoning it, but, it would be just one person getting murdered by one person who knew them. It wasn't like mass whatever. Somebody going and murdering a few people or whatever. Yeah, she did. I mean, it's like that woman who pretended her daughter had been kidnapped, and all the time it was in a cousin's house, wasn't she? She was being drugged and kept in. She was another one. She's out now with a new identity. And that bloke who set fire to his house and killed his kids, he was another one sobbing his heart out on the telly. Oh, me babies, whoever's done this to me babies and all that. And it was him. Some awful people about. I mean, I'm not condoning it, but in a way you can understand one person losing their temper with another person and lashing out at them. You can understand that in a way. I don't condone, like I said, but you can understand. But these are like hate crimes where they're going after crowds of people and bombing people, blowing them up. God, this cone's going on forever. Denise bought some of these cones. Can't remember where we got them from now, but they were half price at the time. They were really, really cheap. And I bought 5, and I made a cardigan in this. And I've still got absolutely piles left on this cone. It's supposed to be 3 to 4 ply. Or fingering, I think, if you're in America. But it's certainly going a long way. Janet, what are you doing? What are you doing, girl? You're making a pig's ear. That's what you're doing. Oh, James Bulger, I mean, they should never have been released at all, because one of them went on to do other things, didn't he? Yeah, they were evil, them 2 lads, taking away a 2-year-old, yeah. Yeah, taking away a 2-year-old and doing all that to him, yeah. They should throw away the key. Ooh-wee. Yeah, they weren't 11, were they? They were quite young, these children. You wouldn't think that they would have that in their head. Oh, it's quite common over here. We have... Oh, see, with my necklace, I knew you'd be around, and it's that sharp. It's sticking to my sweater. Oh, it's all little green beads, but it's sharp as anything, and it's wrecking my sweater. Yeah, every week there's some kid gets knifed over here. It's getting really bad. Every time. Well, in fact, I say every day. It's very pretty, but it's so sharp. Can you see it? It just sticks to my cardigan, pulling lumps out of my cardigan. Oh, it's like Velcro. It's like sharp stuff on the back of it. I didn't realise, obviously, when I bought it, because you buy it from a picture, don't you? I thought, oh, that looks pretty. Then when I got it back, it sticks to everything. It wouldn't if I wasn't wearing a woolly. It'd be all right if I was wearing it with a dress or a T-shirt or something. Oh, Velcro's a demon. Woo. They put it on everything, don't they? And then it gets full up with bits of fluff and wool, and then they won't... You know, if you have it on your trainers or something, your shoes, Velcro, then it gets full of bits, and then it won't stick anymore. And you have to stand there picking it all off with a needle. It's useful for anybody who can't, got disabilities and can't do buttons and zips and things. It's handy for that, but it's a demon for anything else. It just picks up all the fluff. It's getting near the witching hour, getting near my beddy time. It's old devil's time to go to bed. You're late as well, Shad. Where have you been? Not like you to come on so late. All we need now is Lydia, don't we? Because she's always coming on as I'm going off. For some reason or other, I'm actually hungry. I don't know what we've got to eat. Maybe a piece of it'll smell the house. I make toast. I don't think I've got anything else. I've got some crisps, I think. Oh, you took a nap. It's usually Chris who does that, who wanders off for a nap and forgets me. Are you snowed up, Shad? No, Chris doesn't always take a nap. Chris wanders off to cook, don't you? He usually goes and makes himself something to eat. I'm hungry. I want something to eat. I don't know why I had enough tea, but I didn't have any lunch, so that's probably why I'm hungry. It's bitterly cold here, Shad. It's blowing a gale as well. Yeah, I'll be going to bed. I was going to finish this row, but I don't think I'll bother. That's what I've been doing, Shad. I'm making a virus show. It looks like an owl to me. You know the middle bit where there's like two eyes, and I don't know why it looks like an owl, but it does. I shall put my hook in there and put my cone down. Not seen Jill for a week or two. I hope she's all right. I'll have a sweetie that might stave off the hunger a bit. Can she not get him to calm down, Sean? Is he one of those inconsolable types? That's what the little boy next door used to be shouting when he was on his own. He was on his own, though. It wasn't that he was autistic, he was on his own. They do, I think, a lot of it. I know the kids can't help it, but a lot of it isn't helped by the mum's attitude. I know it's hard to have to keep going in. I mean, my son was the same. You know, it was, Mum, I want you, Mum, I want a wee, Mum, I need a drink of water, Mum, I need this, Mum, I need that. It's just, they do it. It's just part of, they grow out of it. Most of them do. I don't know why kids suddenly want a wee or suddenly want a drink of water when they get to bed. They don't want one during the day. Oh dear. Anyway, it's 4 minutes past the witching hour. And my mascara's run all down my eyes. Cheap mascara for you. Buy a better one, Janet. Don't be so tight. Buy a better one. Oh, I've got some fruit and nut. I know I don't like nuts, and I don't like the taste of them. Yeah, I'm going now, Nathan, yeah. But I like these. Peanuts and raisin mix. I can eat these. And yeah, I hate nuts. Of any description, I hate nuts. So why can I eat peanuts? They're the only nuts I can eat. I'll eat some peanuts. I'll look at my mail to see if I won on the lottery. I might have won a lucky dip, but they don't tell me that until tomorrow. Anyway, I'm going to go now, so thank you very much for your company, people. Hopefully, I'll see you next week. Hopefully. Internet and everything willing. I never say I will anymore. I just say I hope to. I've actually got the router down here. It's next to my flowers. Oh, I can have a point, the router. I've actually got the router in here with me. I think I was having a distance problem with it before. And it kept dropping out. One of these days I'll sort my other camera out. Get it to charge up. I still haven't sorted the other one out, Cheryl. I'm very bad at things like that. You're eating tropical mix, I'm eating peanuts and raisins. I'm still hungry though. But I'm not hungry for a biscuit or anything like that. I'm not really hungry for crisps either. I've gone off crisps, I don't know why. Anyway, people, thank you very much for keeping me company. And I shall see you all next week, if not before. Okay. Bye, Nathan, Val, Chris, Shad, Shan, Munchkin, Enid, whoever else is still here. Good night to you all. Bye-bye now. Bye.